Hey guys, Jeff here, and today I'm going to show you how to frame a new room in an old space using technical drawings as a reference. This is a great skill set for any renovator to develop, but it's especially important if you're thinking about finishing a basement. Hope you enjoy the video. Cheers. We've got our designs, our schematics, our plumbing, our electrical. So we're going to show you all the tips and tricks so that you can build and reframe your house for yourself so you can change your own floor plan. A lot of times when you're renovating, you're moving forward. Hey, we built the walls. And then you come along, the electrician goes, hey, the stud's in the way. I need you to reframe your wall. The plumber goes, hey, the floor joist is where the toilet's gonna go. I need you to reframe your floor. The list is endless. So knowing how to read your plans and then think through your problems, having a lot of experience helps because you know all the different details about the fixtures and where they're located. But in this video, we're gonna talk about a lot of the basics so that you can avoid a lot of pitfalls and a lot of mistakes that cost a lot of money. Here is the basic scenario here, okay? We're gonna put in a center beam, we're gonna vault the ceiling. Those videos are coming. A couple of skylights, that's pretty. But from here over, we're gonna reframe. Right now, we just have one big empty space. So I got a bathroom here, I've got a hallway here, I've got a center wall that separates the kitchen from the bedroom, and I've got a built-in kind of like open shelf nook thing going on, and then a water closet over here. And the finished design looks like this. So now I know where my plumbing fixtures are. So I got a center line here for my faucet and my tub. In a lot of cases, the drain is center line as well on these tubs. So you need to know what's going on with your floor package in order to fix this. And if you have a joist running right through the middle, then you have to shop for a tub where the drain's on the end. Okay, really good practice. We're gonna have a walk-in shower. That's largely customizable. So I've got all kinds of solutions there. If a joist is where the drain goes, I can go to a linear drain. And Schluter makes an offset linear drain, so it'll be on one side, or you can install it reversed, and it can be on the other side. The offset is guaranteed to have at least one location where you're not gonna hit a joist, okay? So if you're buying a drain system from them, they're expensive, they're worth it, but if you get the center, make sure your floor joist isn't in the way. You can't just be cutting out floor joists, that's structure, okay? And that causes all your tile to break as well. Then we have the toilet. All right, so we have this tiny room. It's predetermined. My designer has really nice lines. She's done everything here very intentional. All the lines are very intentional. Even the tub centered on the window, centered on this great big opening. So it's a floor to ceiling door that usually stays open. I love the design. Now we move on to what we have is the design drawings with actual measurements. Now this is a designer drawing, okay? This is not a blueprint for framing. So we have to interpret this a little bit. So be careful if you get a drawing like this. It's a 28-inch door, for instance, okay? That's what 2'4" is. But my framing is not 28. I need a 30-inch hole. So we have to think, and from the beginning, tally up all the math, and then figure out the math for ourselves about where that door is going to get located and how it's going to be framed in. And that's fine. We're going to be using some laser levels today, and then we're going to have all that going on, but I have a rough idea where this toilet goes. Now, traditionally, toilets are 12-inch on center from a finished wall. So in this case, we're 12.5 from the studs. So now let's go address the biggest issue we have in this room, the bathroom. I've got it mocked up so we can go and talk about all the problems there because we got to get a little creative, and we're going to share some industry secrets with you so that you can solve your problem without having to make really ugly bulkheads everywhere, okay? Here's my bathroom, give or take. Now I don't have them lined up perfectly yet. I haven't got the laser out, but I got the right dimension, okay? It's 36 interior inches, 36 finished. Here's the deal. I went out and I had Matt pick up a toilet this morning so we can show you the problem. Here's the problem. This is where the door is when it opens up. And it clears the toilet. That's not a problem, okay? But then when I get in this room, I have to stand here like a ballerina in order to close that door. All right, this is my forever home, which means I gotta consider my forever belly. 10 years, 15 years from now, I might not be this trim, sexy machine that I am right now, right? So I've gotta consider, I've got a wall back here, right? Like, here's my finished wall. Here's my toilet. Like, this is tight. We have to figure out how can we move this door back a little bit, right? We want to keep with the 28, but I don't want to have my forever going to the bathroom experience one that's really awkward and uncomfortable. So we thought, okay, well, hey, we were troubleshooting this morning. We're like, well, we could make this a pocket door and that would work. Except, let's go back over to the specs. Right over here, guys. This wall here, these little dollar sign looking things, that means light switch. Light switch, light switch. Light switches have boxes. Boxes are deep. Pocket doors don't work with electrical components, okay? And on the other side, I got a GFCI, which is an extra deep box. So I can't make a pocket door. All right. Well, if I want to have these gorgeous lines and keep a 6-foot vanity, I can make my bedroom smaller, but then I'm walking into a wall and I don't have that great line coming into my bedroom from the hallway closet, from the hallway door. And the designer's not gonna be happy. I'm not gonna be happy. My room will be unsymmetrical. Everything causes problems. So I gotta figure out how to make this work. I'm looking at this toilet and I like a nice elongated toilet. I could go with a round toilet. It's not as long, right? That's an option, because right down here, I'm measuring 12 and a half inches to that bolt. And if you know anything about toilets, the bolt flange is in the center line. So when we're roughing this in, we're like, okay, we gotta go 12 and a half inches to that bolt. And in this particular toilet, even with the drywall, I got pretty much backed up against the wall. My options are really difficult here because this makes it cramped, okay? Now, here's my nail holes, okay? That corresponds with my floor joist. All right, so my floor joist is basically here. Now that floor joist goes from the new beam that we put in the basement all the way to the outside foundation wall. And it is 12 inches on center. So if I have to have plumbing right here, I have to cut the whole floor joist out. That's a major structural issue. So now I gotta contact my engineer. I gotta to re-engineer, I need another floor joist over here somewhere, because don't forget the foundation wall comes all the way out to here. So if I put the floor joist any closer, I don't have any ability to get in there and seal up my ridge beam for insulation. So I can't go this way with it. I could reframe and engineer this, but a cheaper solution is what if I laminated the existing beam and then just cut this section out, and it would make room for the pipe to pass up, okay? I don't need to engineer that. I can just put in a brand new floor joist, beam to outside wall. I could do that. Or I could build a box back to my rim joist, okay? Double that up, joist hangers, both sides, blah, 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 and then I can put my pipe anywhere I want here. But then it has to go downstairs, underneath all the floor joists, and I got a huge box across the wall to cover my pipe. Not desirable. The other option is this. They do sell 10-inch on center toilets, all right? American Standard Cadet 3 is a 10-inch on center toilet. That moves my line way back here. And when you open up the specs, you can go to the details when you're shopping online from Home Depot. It actually shows me that I have a 2-inch gap from the back of the toilet to the wall, and that gives me an extra room to cheat. So I can actually go 9-inch on center. And that's enough room to put in a flange right up against the existing joist. I have a his and her vanity here. So in my forever home, every time my wife goes to use the bathroom, if I'm in here, she's gonna hit me in the butt with a door. Or she's gotta knock and get permission to come out of the toilet. We're not gonna go through this massive renovation just to be inconvenienced for the next 20 to 30 years. 40 years, God willing. So we're gonna stick with the original plan, and we're gonna go with that 10-inch offset toilet, because here's what. It also only comes out to 26 and a half inches to here, all right? And if I cheat and I use that space there, I only come out 25 and a half inches. Now, I've got all this space. I can stand here real comfortable. Now I can walk in, I can just go like this, boom, close the door. There's enough space to get that done. So there's the solution. The only other solution I have is I could go with a wall-hung toilet, because I got room to bring a pipe up here. I'd have to reframe a space here because I gotta keep my thermal barrier. It makes the room smaller, but with a wall-hung toilet, even with the 2x6 wall, it's just a toilet seat. And that actually gets me about the same dimension as this American Standard Cadet 3. That's a lot to say about nothing, but at least we know the problem solution is going to be in our fixtures. It's not gonna be in how we frame. So we just get to go ahead, follow our plan, and have a fixture solution instead of a framing solution. Thank God, because today's about framing, right? We have one other issue that we got to address, and that is over here. This plywood is not supported. Underneath the stairs here, there's only one piece of 2x3 here, and there's a 2x10 way over here. I want to put in a bathroom here, okay? And I like to have my bathrooms with tile, preferably. So what I'm going to do here is I got to frame this wall a little bit different. I'm going to have a wall here. I'm going to have a wall coming out over here. So I'm going to build these walls first, and then I'm going to build this wall to sit on top of them, kind of like a Tetris piece, with like a header built in, okay? It's going to be very unique. But this way, I get to redistribute the load of this entire wall, which is going to go all the way up to the top of the vaulted ceiling and pass that load onto the other two studs that are transferring load back to the original floor joist. It's a lot, I know, but we're gonna build it today and show you how to get it done. To every problem, there's a solution. And I think we have all of ours. I think I'd like to start with this main wall where we have the stairs, okay? And then we'll get that established, and then we'll be able to drop a laser line, okay? I wanna cut this out of the way, all right? Let's talk to the folks at home. We don't need this piece of lumber. Originally it was here. They had a 2x4 wedged in between it, and they used that as a nailing surface to attach their wall. We're gonna be going with a spray foam solution for this house. And if I put a wall here right now, I can't get insulation in there. And I don't own spray foam tools. And I'm not gonna spray foam it and then put my wall there. So we're just gonna cut this one, peel it out of the way. We don't need it. That way, my new wall is gonna be attached to this stud because I'm putting a 2x6 instead of a 2x4. And there's reasons for that we'll get into in a minute with our structure, but this is in our way, so we'll cut this and get that out of here. Try not to go through too much through the wall. Being really safe, eh? There we go. Thanks, sir. I'm gonna leave the toe kick in for a minute, okay? Brilliant, okay. Well, not a big surprise. That's one way to deal with this messed up screw, eh? Yeah, just sheathing nails, no brick ties. Oh, we got lucky there. We're gonna make a 2x6 wall. It's designed to be just for here. This is my wall. I'm gonna build it right on top of the edge of this plywood, okay? So it's gonna come 3.5 inches in, right to here, right? All the way from that wall to this black line with a 2x6. We're gonna go 95 and an 1/8. Okay? Top and bottom, same number. So while Matt's cutting those, I'll get the rest of this railing out of here. I'm gonna keep this brace here as well. That'd be a good idea. Let's put this where we can actually build a wall. When you're doing your framing, guys, do your big walls first. Now there's all kinds of ways to frame the interior of your house, all right? We're using nails because it's 2x6. The rule is really simple, 1 nail for every 2 inches of lumber, so there'll be 3 nails. I know it's actually only 5.5 inches, but it's every 2 inches or part thereof is actually how the code reads, right? So there we go. Matt's gonna start framing all that up. All right, so you got it. You're gonna just walk it over? Whoa, there we go. Oh, yeah, we gotta kind of go the other way. Let's lift that into the top. It'll be exactly the same because this is taller than
Pass me the top?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go to the other side and we'll just flip it.
All right.
If you want to just stand in the end there. Yep. Right up into that location. Let's just be slow and easy here. We don't have any safety ladder anymore. Okay. Yeah, roughly there.
You good?
Yeah, now here's the thing. I want you to take the box beam on this. Throw that level on that side. We got to make sure we're flush here. Oh yeah, that's sweet. Tell me exactly when it's perfect. Because I want to get a filler strip for this so we get this perfect.
Right there.
1/2 inch.
Okay.
Okay? Can we do the same thing at the other end?
Yeah, we're pretty good there.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay, so that's not very exciting for me. All right, so here's what's going on. I'm tight at that end.
Okay.
I'm 1 inch off, 3/4 or 1/2 inch off over here. So the truss is not perfectly perpendicular. Or the hole cut for the stairs isn't perpendicular. I'm thinking the truss is right and the hole to the downstairs is wrong.
Okay.
That means that we're going to be installing this one with shims
Yep.
and nailing in that there as well. Okay, so grab your nailer. Let's just throw a couple on that end and get this anchored. I'll grab some shims and we can screw the rest of this together. Right through the bottom of that truss, that stays forever. You need some more height?
No. Right to the bottom of the truss?
Yeah,
Into the thing?
sure. Got it.
Okay.
All right, let's get that level over here one more time and I'll set this up with 1/2 inch. Let's try that.
So you want to know if it's level right now?
Yeah, I want you to tell me where it's level and then I'm gonna adjust this.
Okay, go your way. A little bit more. There you go.
So it is right there. Okay, nail gun please. Thank you. Oh, dude. Why do you need 3 hands to do this? Here, I got a better plan. Come on, honey. They grab on these screws, eh? All right.
All right.
Not quite there.
Yeah, your way a bit.
How's that?
There you go. Your way more.
Towards me.
Yep. That's good right there.
Really? No kidding. All right. Well, there we go. Well, we'll just use the screw. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just stick another one over here. And we're not going anywhere. Now the truss is a little sloppy over here, but that's fine. Once we get the bathroom wall in, we'll be able to get that all squared away. When you're building, every time you have an anchor point, especially as a DIYer, use screws. You can make adjustments to this as you go later on. If you start nailing everything together, you're gonna run into a whole world of hurt. All right, let's get you back on the saw. I gotta build the outside of this bathroom wall. All right, Matt, ready to go?
Yep.
Okay, here's what I wanna do. I wanna like lay it out. So just put the 240s back here on this wall. Let's go in here. Okay? Yeah, exactly. All right, so that's gonna be going here, right there. Let's go. Remember we talked about we have this problem over here? So here's my plan. Let's say we build the walls, okay? Boom. Now, this, I'm gonna turn this into like a header that sits on here with a piece of 1/2-inch plywood in between. And now my load is transferred, everything above it, with this little header, but we'll call it a footer, all right? Onto this 2x4, which is just a few inches from the first nailing piece. And onto this 2x6, so that all the weight is then transferred to those 2 points. Over here, it's on structure. Over here, it's close to structure. So I'm not relying on what's underneath this. So I don't need to build out the bottom of the stairs and be banging our heads. So since I can't make underneath here strong, we're gonna carry the weight up here. So what I need is a piece of plywood that's, let's go 3 inches. Okay, by like 36.
By 36?
Yeah. All right, and then we'll make that sandwich. And then we'll build a wall on top of this wall. While he's doing that, I also have to think, how do I frame this wall? I want to be able to have wood on the outside. So I'm going to lay a 2x4 on the flat there, and I'm going to have lumber there. Make sense? And then over here, we're just going to go with a single. So now I got to transfer this information. Bam. And then on the flat. Now, when you're taking a look at your drawing, this is where the toilet goes. In a perfect world, I prefer to have my water supply in the wall and not coming through the floor, okay? So here's my center space, about 18, 20, and the toilet is about this wide over here. So if I put my 16, my studs, 16 inch on center, 32, that solves all my problems right there. That wall's ready. That wall is going to be interesting, say the least. I'm going to need to put a 2x4 here as well. We'll nail that blind corner in. And then I'm going to need a nailing surface over here. That's where that goes. So if I put a 2x4 right there, I've got something to tie everything together. Okay, that's interesting. Very important when you're doing your layout for your studs. You got to consider your electrical, okay? Especially in a house like this, because there's lots of different electrical. Over here, I got a 4-gang box, 4-switch box. 1.5 inch wide, it's a 6-inch box. And over here by this door, I've got a 3. Now remember, on each side of the door, we want to have a king and a jack stud. So we've got to make sure that we frame in the right order here. This is really the issue. So over here, I need room for that 4 switch, because that's right here inside. When you first walk into the bathroom, here's all your controls. So I'm going to have a stud there. I got lots of room for 6 inches of electrical. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with a double here. That'll make this corner a lot stronger. And then there's lots of room for them to mount that. I'll put this one here because then when I bring this wall over, I've got a nailing surface for this wall into this stud. That'll work really nice. Boom, boom. And so then we'll just go 16s off that. And I'm just gonna mark out the rest of this. This one is inside. That goes there. That's for my drywall. I'm gonna have a vanity of some sort here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just go with extra framing, 12 and 24. I wanna keep the middle section open for plumbing. I wanna be able to bring my drain and water supply up in the middle of this cavity. So I'm gonna create a cavity just for the plumbing for the vanity. That'll work out fine there. This one, of course, is about as easy as it gets. 1, 2, double on the end. Yeah, let me just get this. Yeah, go ahead. If you're working alone, here's a great trick. Grab one of these. As soon as you've got something like this there, you're free to nail. No problem, okay? Just hit that. Okay? Okay, now you can nail the whole thing. Okay, above and below it. I got the bench behind if you need it. Oh, there you go, pays to be tall, eh? All right, there we go. So now I've got a nailing surface for this other wall to tie in. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Okay. All right, Matt, now you see what I'm saying. Yep. All right, now we start to look like we're working in a jail cell here a little bit, but here we want to look at this. We need a few things for this wall. Okay. Wood on the outside corners, and so that we can attach our drywall and our corner beats. Okay. This footer now is going to sit flush with my 2x4 wall. It sits on top of this plate, and it sits on top of this plate. So now when we're taking a look at our load transfer, remember this is going to go right to the top of the ceiling eventually. That's going to be a fair amount of weight. I want it to hit this footer, travel to this point, because now this is going across. We have framing underneath here, right? Right here. And so now this part is cantilevered off that frame and it'll pick it up really nicely, especially if the outside corner, we build it like an L, screw it together all the way up, and then we tie the top together as well. Okay, that'll become a really strong structure. So when we build this section of wall, we want to actually have it finish at this height, all right, intentionally, so that we can then put a plate across and tie that corner together with this on top of that. So it's sitting there and it's sitting there. It'll be supported in two places. All right, let's go, Maddie. Here we go. We now have our floor where we want it, where that plywood is. That is exactly the way that we want this to look, okay? I want to build this wall first. We'll get this corner squared, then we'll worry about back here. This is as easy as it gets, folks. Here we go. So I've got my plate where I want it. I'm lined up right on that plywood. I got that where I want it. Here. Now, underneath we have a piece of wood coming across. So you put 2 nails right there. That ain't going nowhere. Yeah, crazy, eh? But it works. Let's also deal with this, because I can't attach that to the floor. Just throw me a few nails like that. Now the way we're gonna build this next section wall is we're gonna measure from that point to the top at -3 inches so we can frame it and drop it in flush. So we're gonna do 90. That's about as convenient as it gets. 87. 2 at 40. That's better. Top and bottom plate's 40 inch. Now we're just gonna have to create a way to tie all this together. This is very creative framing, my goodness. You'll understand when we're all done. We'll walk you through the whole process. It'll make sense when we're done. But the basic concept is I'm building a wall to sit on top of this footer, which acts like a header. It's tetrised in now, so the weight is transferred onto the 2x6, this is actually over top of a double 2x10. So this is the perfect load location. Over here, it's not as ideal, but it's on my 2x4 that's spanning across a structural point here, okay? And so I'm gonna build a wall that sits flush right up to that header there and into this. at that height. And then I'm going to put another plate on top of it to transfer load to the top of that plate, which will come across here as well. The whole thing is a little bit messy, but trust me, I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional. Here we go. So here's my wall mat. I need wood on the side here, obviously, right? So I have framing for my drywall. I need something here so I can tie my other wall to, right? And then I just need something in the middle to support my drywall. And I need two. So we're gonna go like this. And we're just gonna split the distance, okay? That is less crucial. And then I'm gonna get working on this wall over here. Now we got it figured out. Folks, we need time to work all this together. So my design calls for 2.5 feet for my finish, which makes me the 21. 2.5 feet from the finish wall, which makes me 21 on the frame. And that's supposed to be sufficient for my door, which is plenty. Let's just go mark the center and we'll work from there. It's 36, 18.5. Here's my center. So I want a 30-inch hole, and this door opens out, so we don't have any issues. So we got 15 and then 30. And we're gonna go with what we call a jack stud, and then a king stud. So that's gonna be a jack and a king. The difference is, when we're framing a door, the jack studs are short, the king studs are longer, they go right to the ceiling. The jack stud goes to the top of the door, right? And then we can put our door plate across on top of it, and then we put cripples on top of that. Anyway, we'll show you as we build it. This is gonna be fun. Yeah, that looks a little bit more like what I was thinking. Now nothing is tied together yet, so it's gonna be a little bit of a mess, but that's the basics of this wall. So we get the top of that tied in. That becomes a nice column. I've got a nailing surface over here for drywall. I've got outside corners, got wood, nailing surface there as well. We could always add a little bit of back framing if we need to. We get that squared off, we're good. Drywall, drywall. Now the only thing we have to do is figure out how to get it all fastened in. It is probably easier for us to attach this bottom plate from underneath with a nail gun. So why don't you go down there? I'll put it in the right position. I'll stand nowhere near it. That is good. Okay, so if you do your left side, it comes right to the edge of the plywood. So just go back about 1.5 inches and then nail straight up. We'll nail the top down into our little footer that we got there. Okay, and then as far as all these other corners are concerned, I think if you nail into that, pick up that bottom plate here. Beautiful. And then everything else for now, we'll just throw a screw in it when we get there. We'll just wait until we build this next wall. So I'm just finishing out mapping this out, right? Let's go back to where we were. Here's the center of our door. I'm gonna go over here. I got a 28-inch door on the spec. We got a 30-inch gap. So we're gonna go kings, jacks, and then we're gonna have to have a stud at each end. That solves all that problem. The only thing I've got to deal with here now is electrical for the bathroom. What do we got on that electrical schematic for where the sink goes? If we're gonna have a vanity plug, then we gotta cut this distance down. Comes out to maybe 18. I'm just gonna go with a center line, doesn't matter. And then over here, we'll do the same. So let's go build that wall. And we'll do that together because the king and jack situation is gonna be very unique. Now, because we're making a door, we want a nail from inside going out, so if the nail penetrates, it's sticking out on the inside of the wall, it's not going to interrupt with the door jamb installation. Now, if you notice, this one's a little warped. I actually had to lift up the back end and put that nail in. This stud's a little warped. You can correct that as you go. And then through the bottom. We haven't talked about drywalling yet. You want wood on the outside of all your corners. You also want to make sure that if your wall is longer than 8 feet from the outside corner where the drywall goes, there's a stud every 16 inches or piece thereof, even above the door. Where the sheet of drywall stops, another sheet it's right in the middle of a stud. That's why we mark 16 on center, so our sheet goods always have a place to land. Anything less than 8 feet, who cares? That's a renovation technique. Anything less than 10 feet, who cares? We can buy 10 feet drywall. In a basement, however, you've got to really pay attention to this because a lot of basements aren't built to bring sheet goods down that are longer than 8 feet. There's a ton of basements out there that don't have a window big enough to slide it through, or they have a turn in the staircase and you can only get 8-foot sheets, or the height of the ceiling is too low for you to bring a 10-foot sheet down the stairs and walk it into the room. It can't make the bend. So if one of those conditions exists and you're working in your house, you've got to have somewhere to have a joint on your drywall every 8 feet. And the bottom sheet and the top sheet are staggered, so make sure your entire wall is every 16 inches. Run a tape down it, mark the whole thing. Make sure you're measuring 16 on center so that your sheet goods are always perfect. Besides, their bad insulation also comes for 16 on center. It's all designed on purpose that way. Okay, so now we got a door, we got a wall. It should just slide right over, but you can walk it over on an angle and then stick it up if you want. Yeah, it goes inside and inside, so let's just get that out of the way. Now, I'm gonna put the square on that corner. We're gonna get this wall in the right spot. We're gonna nail the other side first. I'll hold this and get the nailer. Just make sure that this is nice and square. Throw in a couple nails there. Lock that location. And now we're gonna bring this plate up right to it. Put two right next to that stud so we can still, no, just one, yeah. There, now we can still have room to pivot the other end, okay? But what we wanna do is we wanna nail this together now. Now, because this is a safe place to do this, we actually get to tie these corners together, okay? And then fill up that gap every 16. Let's make it nice and square, nice and strong. Beautiful. Now we're gonna build this wall, and this wall, and this wall. I've already mapped them all out, so this should go really quick. These are all pre-built studs. Now, we're gonna laminate this wall right here. This is the easy part. So you want to tack from both sides. So you want to reach out, go every 2 feet, and then come back inside and hit the gaps. And make sure that we're following. You see how this is twisted?
Yeah.
All right, want to hit the top first. Make sure that's in the right spot.
You don't want to go...
I'm going to throw a clamp on this.
You don't want to move it as we go up?
Well, it makes it harder.
Does it?
If you go both ends and then you clamp the middle.
I see.
Right?
Okay.
The shorter distance, the harder it is to adjust. Okay, you're gonna find that almost impossible. Okay, so I'm gonna just throw that clamp, get the other 2x4, because that makes that perfect.
Okay.
Off you go, run and run. Run and gun, baby. All right. Okay, now we're not gonna attach it to the floor until we get everything framed, and then we're gonna throw a laser line on the outside line and get everything in line with that before we tack it to the floor. So here's my inside wall. Same thing, you're gonna nail from this side. Put the puzzle together first.
So where exactly is our line here?
We don't have one yet. That's why we're not attaching it to the floor.
Oh, we're gonna move it around.
We'll build everything first, and then we'll put the laser on.
Nice.
All right? So you can just tacking into this one side only.
Just watch your face. And
yes, sir.
Everything.
Okay, try to go as straight in as you can, and make sure your top is in the right position. That's it. And then one at the bottom, and then backfill a little bit. Okay, now I'm gonna consider this. Here's my inside dimension. I'm exactly 79. And I wanna go my inside dimension here. Yeah, the only thing that's attached to the floor is that one wall, 79. That's right on that stud. If I go through here on an angle down, I actually tied this to that bottom plate. I wanna make sure that that is right. Should be about there though, right? Yeah, that is freaking perfect.
Okay, you tell me.
Now you do the same thing with the top plate. No, top plate. Like I did the bottom. One through there, into the top plate.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now they're all tied together. Now you can do all that angles all you want. This is gonna happen fast from here. This is pretty awesome. All I need to do is add my little extension. Same thing. Tie the bottom plate to that wall. And at the top, you can also check for the depth here. This one's got a bit of a bow. So I'm gonna push like this and you can nail here, right there. Got it. The only thing left here, that's an outside drywall corner. Tie all that together from the base. Double, double, double. All right, we're gonna hit that wall for the bathroom because that is the rest of that full line. Then we can drop our laser, tie to the floor, square, double top plates so that everything is intersected twice. So it's not just fasteners. If I start from here going that way, this wall, and that wall are all tied together with the top plate. I just about ripped off my nipple there, yeah. Oh. So here's our wall for this bathroom, right? There's no rules, there's no nothing, there's no electrical. This is about as straightforward a wall as you're gonna get. So we're just gonna go with X on the end, X on the end, nice and simple. And then we'll just run 16s on this, 32, 48, and 64. For the sake of making life easy, I'm gonna go here because it's more than 16 inches. And so now when I put my wall up and I build this wall to here, I've got a nailing surface for drywall on that wall. Yo! Yowzer! Yep, felt that one. All right. All right, Matt. I'm gonna just mark off the rest of these two while I'm at it, and I'll let you build all three of these walls, all right? All right, we're gonna go 12 and 24 on this. We're gonna mark this one out for a door and give us the maximum opportunity. So I'm gonna go here, king, and then a jack. Remember, when you're doing your bathrooms, there's two standard size vanities in bathrooms. One of them is a 24-inch cabinet, which gets 25-inch countertop. You want to have 25-inch countertop and space for your door casing so you don't have to cut around your counter. Door casing can be 2.5 or 2 1/8 if you need it, but that also means you got a 3-inch on top of your 25, your 28. Best to have 28-inch frame and then space and then your jamb. Guarantee a gap. That finish is nice. That's the tightest you want to get, 28-inch frame. If you don't have that much space, you can go back to an 18-inch vanity with a 19-inch top. It's a shorter depth. Or if you're really tight on space, go with the pedestal sink. And then you don't have contact with the walls. It gives you a lot more freedom to have a shorter wall. I have tons of room here. I'm at 31 to the door. So even at 25 countertop, I'm fine because that's gonna be my jack. I have space. There's my jamb casing. I got like at least 3 inches with a 25-inch countertop, so I'm fine. But knowing that I have a 25-inch countertop, I also wanna go like this. If that's my 25, my midpoint here is 12.5. I want to have a countertop with the plug on the wall in the middle. That symmetry is important. So people attach things right-handed. If that's where my plug is, that's the middle of it. It's going to be 1.5 inches. I'm going to put my stud right here. So you can put the box onto it, tack it in, and then when I'm all finished, my electrical plug is perfectly symmetrical with the middle of my sink. That's thinking in from the beginning. And there we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 5 pre-cuts. And then we got to do a couple of jacks for this one, okay? All right. Boom, that's correct. All right, so nailed, right? That's your jack here. And then your header is gonna be 33. That should be, if it's a 30-inch hole, that makes more sense, doesn't it? That's just math. Man, holy cow, it's getting late in the day. All right. And then we can put all this together, grab a laser and go home. Let's get the short one over there and let's get this long wall here. We're gonna pull out a laser now and we're gonna straighten out this line to make Ev extremely happy because she's gonna wanna see the world's most perfect straight line ever in home construction. The door is supposed to be as wide as the finished space, which is 45 inches. It's not perfect, Matt. I don't have as much space available as I think Ev was anticipating. Question is, there's my center line right there, coming off that tub. Yeah, see, in a perfect world, if that's my center, this would be a couple inches shorter. But you know what? I gotta be able to get in the bathroom and close the door. So I'm gonna sacrifice my custom order door to being a little shorter than the wall. Bummer.
Sorry, Ev.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
I hope you can forgive us, Ev. We had to make that decision on the fly. All right, let's grab the green laser. It's a little, oh yeah, why don't you grab the green one, Bet? Throw it down there off that corner.
Yep.
And throw it right over to this corner. This is the money. So the first line we're looking at is here. Can you get that tighter to that frame? Always think about the next guy, right? If I'm putting nails in the middle everywhere, the poor sucker comes along, how is he gonna run his auger bits to drill holes, right? He's gonna get creative and do weird things. We don't want weird things done. Leave the cavity as free of obstruction as you can. Whenever you're nailing, nail on the sides or find a floor joist and nail on that floor joist. No one's drilling through a floor joist to run any conduits. Now, this is good. I can manipulate this. So get me tighter. Well, what I'm gonna do, Matt, is I'm going to get my measurement from the outside wall again. 136.25. Now I'm gonna do that again over here. Now that we got the inside of that bathroom squared off. 136.25 to my plate. Yep. So but there's 138.25. There's my mark. You're on it, okay? That green line is now perfectly parallel with the outside of the building. And since it's 2 inches, I'm gonna go to here. What I want to do is get that green line on that black line, which we have, right? Then I'm going to come down here and measure back 2 inches down there. So we get the right location. That's my spot. That's 2 inch. So just like we did before, into the wall plate. We are going to square that off in a second. That's perfect. Now I'm going to take my mark here, 2 inches. That couldn't be any better if you tried. There we go. Let's bring on the short wall and we just go flush. Okay, bring on the other long wall, square that. We'll tack that corner. Tight to the plate, yes sir. And then we'll close this wall here. And we're only looking at the plate right now. Okay, all we gotta do now is with this, which is 37.25, go to 37.25, this way, like 1.25 inches. Keep coming. Okay, that's where we're going. Wow, this is absolutely freaking gorgeous. Yay! We did it! Yeah, all right. That's together. This one, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure a top plate now that connects this one to this one and comes out to the outside. So I just gotta get this measurement all the way inside the bathroom, and I'm gonna hug it together. 43 3/4. I gotta make sure I'm flush on the outside as well. There we go, thanks buddy. And I take the nailer. That should be just enough room for me to squeeze this in. That's why we wear hard hats. We'll try that again for the first time. What's going on here? It's not supposed to be that snug. It's not, I'm just an idiot. That's all right. Can I take a hair off of that, oddly enough? Thanks, sir. All right. I'm gonna get this on here. Okay, let's get a full 8.
Okay.
Go this way. Okay. Can we get it in there? Yeah. Okay.
Right there.
Okay. All right. Have I mentioned yet that renovating is different than building? We have floors and ceilings already in place, and nothing anybody builds is level, flush, and square. It ain't gonna happen, folks. So when you're making modifications, you gotta just roll with the punches. Oh, because the building ain't square. The wood you're working with ain't gonna be straight. And it's all about the finish. And the finish is when you drywall. That's where you fix all your problems. Built well, and your corners are tied together. And anywhere where there's gonna be a weak spot, you put screws in it. A lot of you come and ask me, Jeff, I got a crack that keeps coming and appearing in my house. It's because somebody did this. They framed a wall with nails, they drywalled to this point, and then they put a new piece of drywall here and went this way. The crack in this wood, when nails only, is susceptible to moving. So if you have stresses and weights and shifting and expansion, contraction, drywall that meets this lumber and then drywall coming from this side meeting this lumber, this gap is only nails. This wood is going to do this over time. It's dramatic, what I'm showing you, but it doesn't take much to crack drywall. Anytime you've got that kind of a crack and it keeps coming, okay? I wish I had drywall here, I could explain this better, but it's only 1/2 inch thick. Take a 3-inch screw. Where the crack is, remember it's 1/2 inch out for every 1/2 inch over. Go 3/4 inch over from the crack. Then put that screw on a 45-degree angle and screw like you're stitching a bad cut in your face. Both sides of that crack, like every 6 or 8 inches, and you'll tighten that wood together on the threads of that screw, and it'll stop expanding and contracting. Let the screw do the work for you. You drive that screw right into the drywall, and what you're gonna see is, as long as this head is disappeared through the drywall, so you can do a finish. Look at it. That's what happens to the stud. Okay, you're in the drywall. The threads are on one piece. The threads are in another piece, and these two pieces of wood would be joined together with the threads of the screw. No more expansion contraction. The crack that would have appeared here is gone forever, and you don't have to open your wall to fix it. What you got to do is just risk that there's no electrical going through the wall. And if you're not sure, try grabbing that Wallabot or something, some kind of a device where you can check to see where the electricity is traveling through the wall. And if you're confident you don't have any electrical, drive a couple of screws in there, okay? And if you're not confident, poke a hole in the drywall so that you can like feel up and feel down with your finger, because you're gonna be patching and repairing anyway. Throw a little foam in the hole when you're done, patch it up. Okay, there you go. There's a solution for about 45 million Americans who've got stress cracks from drywall where the joint is over 2 pieces of nailed wood together. That'll save your bacon. All right, where were we? Let's just take a deal with this double top plate. All right, here we go. Done. Now, how do we finish off to the ceiling? Because we don't want this, correct? Well, first thing we've got to remember is the trusses here are getting removed, and then this is going to become a flat ceiling. If I tie anything to these trusses right now, it could really drive us crazy later. So we're not going to mess with this today. But back here, from here on, this truss is staying, and this is my new ceiling height. So how do I attach all these together? So what I'm doing is I'm going to toenail through my rafter on an angle into my wood from both sides so that it stops moving around. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I should make sure it's level first. You want to throw a level on that and see if I got lucky? Tell me I'm good.
What's our margin of error?
None.
Yeah, you're both an 8 though, probably.
It's my forever home.
You're within the lines, but...
Which way do I got to go? To the backyard. Okay. Grab me my reciprocator, please.
Okay.
You know, at least on this channel, when we make mistakes, and it happens, trust me. Helmets, heat, stupidity. Now I got my head in an attic. I bet my face right now is about 120 degrees. All right, here we go. Cut the nail. That's not that big a deal, right? You don't move forward over that. Okay, Matt, so here we go. We're gonna do this again. But this time I want you to put that level. Don't move. There we go. Now I got a mark. Beautiful. Now I can get up there, and I'm gonna nail in at the point that we leveled, as close to it as possible. All right, how's my line?
Fantastic.
And then am I level that way, off the end? That's also a consideration. We should do both ends of that wall. This is kind of crucial, isn't it?
Okay, we are good right there.
Okay, double check it. Fasteners off. And can you just double check my my corner over there with the level?
Okay.
This is my last piece that I can actually tie in. So I want to make sure that the floor plate is, the floor plate is going to be perfect. How's that?
Gotta go away from me, or sorry, towards you.
Really?
Yeah.
How much?
Quarter of an inch.
Okay, hold on.
So if
Let me just take a look. I think the best plan for us is to get a 2x4 on the face until we get the ceiling rebuilt and everything's locked in place. So let's put up a temporary joining wall, find our level, throw a nail in it, then we can finish fastening this to the ceiling. Yeah. But listen, the design is such that we're going to have this grand, glorious floor-to-ceiling door here. But now we've got a whole house that's moving. I got enough that I anchor this to, right? This is just the way it is. So we're gonna get it in the right position. Yeah, I'm fine with putting a header like that. I just would like to get to at least to this point. So if you wanna go there, and then this isn't gonna happen. First thing we're gonna do is attach this to our nailing positions over here and level this. That'll establish that, then we can do that. Make sense? Let's get this done. Watch your fingers. There's our ball. Okay, perfect. One there, and then throw a couple on the top into the top plate. Okay? Throw a couple on an angle up there. Okay, now we got that fixed to the house. So this one is no longer moving this way. Thank God for that. Now, if you can give me the nailer, and then you can push on that corner, and I'll nail this thing in, and we'll have it anchored. Wow. For good luck. So now we have a wall that's not going anywhere. Okay, that makes a major difference. Now, the last thing for us to do is really go around all the corners with the clamp, tighten everything up, because when you nail frame twisted lumber, everything grows over time. So you really want to tighten everything up. Fasten it with screws. That's your best bet, because then if you run into trouble or you find out later the hard hat's made your brain not work and you're out of alignment, you can back out the screws and then screw things together. That's pretty much it for me today, folks. My brain is dead. Thanks a lot for joining us. If you haven't yet, hit the like button. Help a brother out, all right? And make sure you subscribe to the channel. Cheers to next time.